It was okay. I got through it. Maybe. Well, good evening. I've been used to the kids all week, so um, I was talking to Darren earlier today, and I told him, I said, you study, you think of something, you get excited about it. I said, but when you stand up here, I said, my mind goes blank, so I get nervous about doing this. But we're going to be in Matthew chapter 24. And I got to thinking about this because, I've heard it ever since I was a kid. I know Jens has heard it for a long time, but um, I feel like I've seen it more lately than I ever have of things that's happening in this chapter. And but I might do a lot more reading than talking tonight. But it says in verse number 1, it says, and Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said to them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And I got to thinking, there's this guy I watch, and he's a big Christian, but he goes to these college campuses and stuff and kind of has debates with them, and they don't like him for the way he believes. But this man came up dressed just like Jesus, looking like the pictures we see and everything, and started telling him that he was Jesus. So the guy started asking him questions, and the guy couldn't answer one thing about the Bible. And he kept saying that he was Jesus. Well, then he started using foul language, and the guy I watched just kept commenting back. But that's not been the only incident that I've heard of people saying that they was the Lord, and but these things are happening in our time now, and it says in verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All the wars that keep going around us now, and all the hatred, as I get down through here, I kept reading into it, but there's a bunch of hatred going on in our country. There's a bunch of hatred going on to other countries. And not saying that, around here, but if you just look, if you don't believe like one believes, they hate you and they want to destroy you and stuff. And it seems like now it's happening more than I've ever seen with our country. And but it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And I got to thinking about some things that happened in the past about some preachers that was going out preaching God's word, and they were trying to put them in jail and said, well, if you don't shut the doors to the church, we'll put you in jail. And one of the preachers said, I guess I'm going to jail to preach. But these, I don't really know what to call who they are, I guess Antichrist and stuff, but they come out and they come after us, and not just in any other way, but I guess you could take it as, I remember when I was kind of, I guess, out in the world and stuff, I had people come up to me and told me, I thought you was a Christian and you talking like that and stuff, but as I was talking to Darren today about it, people watch the little things and they try to make it bigger than what we really think it is, but it gives them an excuse not to have to come to church. And then they say, well, he's out here doing this, even though it's not technically wrong, but they try to make it, and they try every way they can to try not to come to church. But and then it says in verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolations spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. That let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. For the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. And I know, like I said, there's going to be a lot of reading so I can get to my parts. I didn't want to really skip any. But, it says right there, it says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. My spirit was saved. My flesh is not. My flesh is going to one day be back in the ground or wherever it may be. But I feel like I just need to go ahead and give my testimony. But I was 9 years old, and we was in Bible school during this time, and it was Mom's birthday. And of course, being in school, I didn't have no money. I think I had $5 left over from lunch, and I told her, I said, Mom, here you go. She said, son, no, you keep that. You use it for something extra at school. So we come to church that night. I didn't think nothing, no different. And I don't even know what Marla Buckner, I don't even know what she was teaching on. But all I remember is somehow I ended up on the edge of the wood part of the bench. And being 9 years old, I told the kids this yesterday. I said, people get confused of how to be saved, that it's going to be hard. But at 9 years old, when God was knocking, I knew. I said, it's so easy. A child will know when their time is to be saved. And I said, I knew that I needed to be saved. And moral of the story, I went and got Mom to tell her, and me and Leonard was the pastor at the time, and we sat back there and talked, and all I kept saying, I just need to go be saved. And I remember they was trying to dismiss, and I went through the whole crowd and got right up here and got saved. And I got to thinking, I've got friends that, and I'm not saying that they ain't, but when you try to talk to them and how they live out in the world, and you ask them how they got saved, and they can't necessarily kind of give you the how. I mean, it really makes you think. But I got to thinking of the ending of the time. Once it's done, there's no more saving. If you're not saved, then He'll say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." And I used to be scared to hear those words. If, as an example, say I was as a child, and if my mom and dad said they didn't want me no more and gave me up, that would tear me up. But as that time comes, it's going to be too late for somebody to accept Him. And every time I do this, I lose my spot. I think I'm on verse. I'm just going to go ahead and read 23. Huh? Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, and so much that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree, where his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, there were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. And I look in the audience, and I believe most of us have been saved, but we've got our kids that ain't been saved, and I know there's some in our class that raised their hand that hadn't been saved. And, it's our duties as parents, grandparents, or guardians, or whoever, friends, it don't matter. Some people, some people want to talk to friends. They feel more comfortable doing it that way. But moral of the story is that if somebody comes up to you, just try your best to give them how to be saved, if that's what they're asking, or if they have any questions. Because like it said there, I've lost my. Therefore ye be also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. I just don't want it to be too late for some people. And I was watching earlier today. Hilltop had their Bible school on there, and I was watching. There's this guy, and I've met him before a while back, but his testimony, I swear, it will sit there and just get you fired up. The man used to be an atheist, and he sat there and he said, but once God got a hold of him and changed him, boy, sitting in that work van today on lunch, I got to watching that, and people say you can't change, and I'll never change for what I've done, but it don't matter. You know, God's a forgiving God. The only sin that I ever known is just turning Him away. And like I said, if you wait too long for our children or whoever it may be, you know, it's too late. I mean, that's just to the point. You know, there ain't no begging Him in. So all I gotta say is just be ready, and if somebody comes up and they want to know, you know, try not to be like, well, I'll talk to you later about it or something like that, because if they need to know now, you know, there's a lot of times at work, some guys will call me to ask for something, and I was like, well, hey, I'm busy right now, I'll talk to you later about it. But, you know, if you call me and want to talk about God and you got questions, I'll stop what I'm doing to talk to you, because that could be the ticket for somebody. And then it says, blessed is the servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You know, I kind of told the kids last night about how hell kind of is. I mean, I didn't really get far into it, but I don't know anybody that would say that I would want to sit down there and burn for eternity. Chelsea, where she does like social media, it's been a while back, but this one girl texted her and said, I can't wait to be the queen for the devil. Well, all I know is when you enter in as a intruder, and you'll burn forever. But the moral of the thing is 100% God's coming back, and all I got to say is be ready and help somebody that ain't ready, that you may be able to be a light to them. And if anybody's got anything, I know I was quick through it, but anybody. Appreciate these words. And as they was talking, I got to thinking, I can't remember the guy's name, y'all probably do, but the guy that always tries to predict the end of time. And Chelsea's got a girl at work, and she was texting her that night that it was happening, and she was scared to death that that was going to be it. And, you know, not even the angels know when he's coming back. And so somebody trying to predict it, I just laugh at them. But, you know, she was scared to death, and I don't reckon that, you know, they was brought up in church at all or nothing. But as it says in here, it plainly told us not even the angels know. But I appreciate that. Does anybody else got anything? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a blessing when our kids that has been saved get to testify, because sometimes, like, it's funny when Chelsea taught, the kids was all goofing off, having a good time. But it's like when I taught, it's like not a peep was made. It's like they was looking straight through me, like, and but when the kids get to talking, their friends get to listening, and their friends get to listen to them, and it just kind of interchanged with them. And I appreciate, you know, a lot of our kids are stepping up lately and doing things, and other kids see that. Like I said, it took one of my good friends, and when I told you a bunch of times, but when he was our hind catcher in baseball, and I believe it was around my junior year, and God punished me. You can ask mom and dad, I didn't have the best year, but I was saying things, hanging out with the wrong people. I didn't do nothing wrong, bad like that, but just the way I talked was bad enough. And he came up to me one time and told me, he said, I thought you was a Christian. He said, I thought you was going to church like me. He said, you talking like that? Boy, it hit hard. And I had to come back and get right. I could have dropped there, but at first I just kind of shrugged it off. But then I got to really thinking about it, and it bugged me. And I remember when I came back to ask for forgiveness, get back on the right track. And a lot of times in service, we don't have to. I mean, when you're saved, you're saved. But there's a lot of times I just got to come back to get close to Him again. It ain't just used to be saved. Y'all know that and stuff. But some of the kids think and I can't remember how many times, but after I got saved, the devil he convicted me hard, but he bugged me hard about me being saved and being so young and not having a good brain, I guess you'd say. But he would come at me about everything. Oh, well, you're not saved. You're not saved. And he kept trying to get me to doubt it. And there was a lot of times that he did. And I've heard people talk before, and like I said, once you're saved, you always say, but there's times that I got, like I said, out in the world, and you start questioning, you get so far away, you're like, man, am I really saved? Because there's things that I sit there and do, but once you come back, I mean, I know without a shadow of doubt, I ain't got nothing to worry about no more. And there's things that when I was a kid, I'd have never thought of doing because, I was afraid if I'd done it, I was going to die, where I was going to go to hell. But after I got saved, there's not too many things still worry me, but I remember I used to be afraid of heights. Dad would go hang his tree stand, and I'd climb about halfway, and I was like, nope, not happening, and come back down. And now I about feel like I could live in one, and my job, I'm always up high now, and you get up there, and I remember me and Ricky, when he was pastoring here, I talk about being way up on the roofs and stuff now, and I said, man, the views you can see. He said, when he's up high, he said, I feel like I'm just closer to God. And, I kind of try to look at it that way, too. You're just right there above with Him. But has anybody got anything else? y'all know, and Chelsea's asked prayer for her grandpa, and when he was brought up, the he said that he was beat to go to church, and he said every time he just hears a piano, he just can't stand it, because that's what his mama played the piano for the church, and when he went through this little coma thing, me and Chelsea kind of hoped it happened, but in a way we was kind of laughing about it. But we said while he was in his coma, we hope Jesus, spoke to him in that. But when he come out, he asked, why am I here? And Chelsea said, because Jesus gave you another chance, and didn't have very nice things to say about it. But I feel like he's given him the most opportunities that he can have. But Chelsea, you try to talk to him about the Lord, and he don't want to hear it. But it's just one of those things. I guess you can't force nothing on nobody. I've always been told, and the more you kind of try to get somebody, the more it can push them away if you try to just hound it on them. But the only thing I know to do is you witness and you pray about it, and hopefully somebody else comes in that he would have never thought, or somebody that you all may know would have never thought, well, I didn't ever thought you'd been in church, and that people see that stuff. Dad's got a good friend at his work that I talked to a lot, and but for a long time he pretty much said he just didn't need Jesus or nothing, and then he got with his wife, and now they go to church, and I reckon he's there trying to be there every time the door opens. And people say that Jesus can't, or people say a lot of times, well, nobody can change me, nobody can do this. Well, if God can get your attention and get a hold of you, and you really get down and you're willing to do it, then your life can be changed around. And that's all I've got tonight. I don't know what time you're going to eat or nothing like that. But
we need to prove more than faith. He says many and many are being deceived. I don't know about you, but I talk to people and I think, my goodness, how can you believe this? What you're telling me? And I tell them the truth. I try to tell them nice as I can. God's word.
Mm-hmm.
And we got in trouble. Eve got, because she took God's place. You can be as God, you know good and evil, and she took it. And that's what got mankind in trouble. But Jesus was so good that he took our place on the cross. When somebody, when you see somebody that claims to be God or claims to be Christ, you just look at them and know that ain't so. I seen a sign today at church, and it says, some, I've seen it before, but I never registered. It said, some died for many, but Jesus died for all.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever died for all. There's people that you wouldn't die for. Like you say, your enemies, naturally, you just wouldn't die for. You wouldn't die for somebody from another country like you would somebody that, but Jesus would, and Jesus did. And Jesus was so selfless. He was so humble. These people that, just look at that. All the people that have followed Jim Jones, and there's many cults. Many have been deceived. Sherry and I watch sometimes shows, and then it'll be on cults and all. The things that they get them to do, they take their freedom away from them more or less, and they make them God, and they do some of the most ungodly stuff that they'll have them doing. And, you just ain't shown that they're Christ, because He is harmless. He's holy. He never acted like that. And, we need to remember, we're in the last times. And it's like this. I heard a preacher use this way of saying it. He said, what if just say there's a mother, a young mother, she's got a newborn baby, and she's laying in her house at night, and the house is on fire. She wakes up. She runs down to the kitchen, gets her pots and pans, starts carrying them outside. She'll go up and get her jewelry out. And you're thinking, man, the baby. And she just keeps carrying her belongings out. Well, that's exactly what, we do a lot of times when we live after the flesh and after the world. We don't worry a bit about our kids being saved. All we're worried about is that bank account. Nobody will get in there and get a few dollars from us that, But Jesus will teach you. He'll teach you the right way. He'll teach you the true thing. And you know it's Him. Because there ain't nobody like Him. There ain't nobody like Him. I don't care how many, down through the centuries, how many people have claimed, there ain't nobody like Him. There ain't nobody good as Him. There ain't nobody that cares like Jesus does. Nobody ever come looking for me like Jesus did. And I tell you what, don't believe it. Don't believe it. They tell you, He said, don't believe it. They tell you He's over here. We know where He's at. Right hand of the Father, making intercession for us. He's done come. He's done, did His sacrifice. He bought us, paid the full price for us, died for us, died for all that will receive Him. And there ain't nobody like that. There ain't nobody would do it. I wouldn't give my son up. For you, Jeffrey, I know they wouldn't give you up for me, my son, or for me, or. But there ain't nobody like Jesus. There just ain't nobody like Him.
I appreciate this. And
Everybody's going to know that Jesus is back. The people that they hear and everything, just like Larry said, he's not here right now. Everybody's going to know Jesus is back.
I appreciate this. And earlier, I think while Dad was talking about earlier, but I was thinking, God sends people our way to help us, and this testimony, it really sticks out. But you all know Caitlin's brother Brent, but I remember when he told his testimony, he said there was a lady sitting back there with him and asked if he needed to go pray, and he said yes, he needed to be saved. He came up to get saved, looked back, the lady was nowhere to be seen. He couldn't find her. Still to this day, he didn't know who it was. I believe God sends people and things happen in our life in ways to help us, and but that's all I've got. I guess y'all can be dismissed.